Time now for our Rants and Raves, starting with Margery.
Well, I was very happy to see Gretchen Carlson, who used to work at Fox News, who was the person that got the whole ball rolling, that got rid of Roger Ailes and ultimately Bill O'Reilly. I'm not a fan of Fox News, as you can tell, but she wants them to release women there from their non-disclosure agreements, because as she points out, she's been portrayed in several TV things and movies about this whole thing, and she has no opportunity to talk about it. She can't talk about it. She can't correct the record. She can't tell her story. I think they're very destructive because people. We saw this with the pedophile pre-scandal, where people would sign these non-disclosure agreements and they couldn't talk about what really happened. I think we need to find another way to compensate victims without swearing them to secrecy privately and publicly for the rest of their lives.
She was lucky that she had those tape recordings, because some of that stuff did make it into the media. It's in that movie, Bombshell, too. So you do know a little bit more of her story, and that's the only reason why. Dan.
I have a rave for Sinclair Broadcasting.
Wow.
The owner of nearly 100 local TV stations has decided to drop their must-carry political commentaries, including the right-wing commentaries of Boris Epshteyn, who most notoriously gave a commentary defending the Trump administration's policy of tear-gassing kids at the border. Let's hear a little bit of that.
The migrant crisis on our southern border has greatly escalated. Dozens of migrants attacked U.S. border enforcement by throwing rocks and bottles. The fact of the matter is that this is an attempted invasion of our country.
And he went on to say that the tear gassing of the kids was absolutely necessary. And Sinclair at that time began to distance themselves from him. And now they've eliminated all commentary. And even better, they say they're going to use the resources to bolster local investigative reporting.
Really?
So they may finally
this is a shock.
They may finally be figuring out the business that they stumbled into.
So were they? Oh, sorry, Mike, go ahead.
No, what about those commentaries where all the people had to read the same editorials?
I don't know about the editorials, but the must-carry commentaries are gone.
Do we know if they were losing money with their current approach? My assumption is that's why they're shifting gears.
They certainly weren't appealing to viewers.
All right, Callie.
Well, some viewers.
I have a rave for the Associated Press and Report for America that is also connected with us here at WGBH. They're increasing the number of State House reporters to 14. That sounds like a small number, but it wasn't so long ago that from 2003 to 2014, the number of people who covered the State House declined by 35%. So our viewers, that's all of the information about laws and policies that rule your lives down to the smallest things, and there was no reporting about it, no reporting on those people sitting in those seats representing people in all of all across the states. So this is a huge deal, and they're bringing coverage to Colorado, Indiana, Kansas, Michigan, Minnesota. It's going to last for 18 months. It starts in June. Hopefully this will continue, but this is huge in terms of getting back to information that we can all use. One of the reasons we're talking about the kind of stuff we were talking about with regard to Fox and CNN is that people don't trust the information. We need to be, doing this is the kind of stuff that we do to let people understand what's happening in their lives, and I believe it builds trust.
To that point, one thing that I don't know how they're going to approach this. One thing that concerns me a little about this, it's a great idea, but with Teach for America, there was some criticism that you had people coming from outside a community coming in as a sort of a savior figure when there were people in that community who had some pretty good ideas too, and I hope they find a way to get
Report for America is traditionally has gotten people from that area.
Excellent. I have a quick rave for a podcast. I'm always on the lookout for the next podcast I can get totally obsessed about. This is a BBC podcast called The Missing Crypto Queen, which I stumbled on. It is a story, 9 episodes and then it's done, or 8 episodes and it's done. It's about a woman who launched what she claimed was an alternative to Bitcoin. She called it the Bitcoin killer. She got people across the world to invest billions of dollars in it, and then she vanished. Totally fascinating. I'm not a big tech guy, but this really, it's about the negative power of disruptive technologies and also about the eternal human capacity for self-deception, and it's so good. Wow. So highly recommended.
It's like that woman who had the blood organization.
Very similar.
Invested all that money.
All right, so you know how I've been saying for the last couple of years in the newsroom, what happened to Rudy Giuliani? I mean, he flipped, he snapped something around. So this morning I turn on NPR. Steve Inskeep has an 11-minute piece on Rudy. Oh my gosh!
Great. Well,
so here's just a little clip of it.
Oh, I want to hear this.
Some acquaintances suggest the one-time prosecutor changed, yet our review of Giuliani's career reveals what has not changed: his energy, his fondness for divisive politics, his creative use of words, and his refusal to give up, all of which fit the style of his fellow New Yorker in the White House.
I think what he was saying is some people suggest he's probably really flipped his lid. But this had his whole career encapsulated. It was really, really well done. And he had people who had worked with him. His former wife was part of it. Bernie Carrick was part of it.
Yeah, it was great.
It was really great.
It was absolutely great. I was standing brushing my teeth, had to wait till it was over.
Steve Inskeep is terrific.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
a
fantastic.
huge fan.